This is Tony D here from Tony'sPicks.com with our college football pick show, Week 12, Part 1. We'll have 15 games from Saturday. We do these in parts. For more free pick videos, be sure to subscribe to our channel. And if you're looking for my best bets, my premium plays, click that link in the description. That'll take you over to my page here at Tony'sPicks.com. So let's get this one underway. All right, we start here with Texas and Arkansas college football pick here for Saturday. All right, Texas now 8-1 after their 49-17 home victory to Florida. The Longhorns gained 562 yards, 210 rushing for 6.8 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 329 yards to the Gators with 132 passing yards on 25 attempts. Quinn Ewers, 19-27 passing for 333 yards with 5 touchdowns. Arkansas now 5-4 after their 63-31 home defeat to Ole Miss. The Razorbacks put up 492 yards, 127 rushing for 3.5 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 694 yards to the Rebels with 562 passing yards on 34 attempts. Taylor Green, 10-14 passing for 158 yards. The expected to play on Saturday following the knee injury aided here. The recovery will aided here by the bye week. Arkansas against the SEC has completed 71% of their passes for 8.8 yards per pass attempt. They defended run well against the conference, but surrendered 66% completions for 9.2 yards per pass attempt. Texas in their road game rushing for 4.4 yards a carry with 7.3 yards per pass attempt. They've defended well on the road. Texas 2-7 of the spread on the road, facing teams that average 250 yards passing per game or greater. The pick here will be on Arkansas here. Let me get the graphic up for you here. Arkansas will be the play here at plus the 14. All right, next up we have Liberty and UMass college football pick. This one here on Saturday. All right, let's take a look at this one here. Texas and the UMass, Liberty and UMass. Liberty now 6-2 after their 37-17 road win at Middle Tennessee State. The Flames gained 500 yards, 339 rushing for 6.8 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 351 yards to the Blue Raiders with 263 passing on 33 attempts. Caden Salter here, 11-15, passing for 154 yards with 2 touchdowns. He rushed for 94 yards and a score. UMass fell to 2-7 after their 45-20 road defeat at Mississippi State. The Minutemen put up 463 yards, 241 rushing for 8 yards to carry. On defense, they allowed 335 yards to the Minutemen, 199 rushing for 4.1 yards a carry. Ahmad Hostin here, 4 of 5 passes for 25 yards. The redshirt freshman played for Tyson Fumanamaha, who is out for the season likely. Liberty in their road games rushing for 6.4 yards a carry with 7.3 yards per pass attempt. They defend the run well and allow 63% completion rate. Minutemen defensive form poor as in their past 3 games, allowing 32 points with 5.4 yards per rush with 8.8 yards per pass attempt. In this period, UMass struggling with quarterback accuracy and efficiency. The pick here will be on Liberty here at minus the 14. All right, next up we have Louisiana Tech and Western Kentucky. Louisiana Tech fell to 3-6 with their 44-37 home defeat to Jacksonville State. The Bulldogs put up 410 yards, 144 rushing for 3 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 381 yards to the Gamecocks with 191 rushing for 3.2 yards a carry. Even Bullock completed 16 of 23 passes for 266 yards with 3 touchdowns and a pick. Western Kentucky now 7-2 with their 41-28 road win at New Mexico State. The Hilltoppers put up 413 yards, 116 rushing for 3.3 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 460 yards to the Aggies with 331 rushing for 6 yards a carry. Caden Velkamp, 18-27 passing for 246 yards with 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. He rushed for 2 scores. Louisiana Tech in Conference USA rushed for 3 yards a carry with 7.5 yards per pass attempt. They defended well in conference by allowing 3.3 yards a carry, 6.6 yards per pass attempt. WKU is putting up 39 points a game against Conference USA with 4.2 yards per rush, 73% completions, 11.1 yards per pass attempt. On defense, the Hilltoppers allow 59% completion rate against the conference. Louisiana Tech 2-9 to the spread on the road against Conference USA and 0-5 the spread on the road facing teams that average 250 yards passing per game. WKU 4-0 to the spread at home when favored by 10.5 to 21 points. The pick here will be on Western Kentucky, minus 13.5. All right, next up we have Tulane and Navy college football pick here Saturday. Tulane improved to 8-2, a 52-6 home victory at Temple. The Green Wave gained 589 yards, 327 rushing for 6.3 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 158 yards to the Owls, 56 passing yards on 22 attempts. Darian Mensah, 14-21 pass for 262 yards with 2 touchdowns and a pick. Navy 7-2 with their 28-7 road win at USF. The Minutemen put up 379 yards, 321 rushing for 5.4 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 342 yards to the Bulls with 282 passing yards on 44 attempts. Blake Horvath, 6 of 11 passing for 58 yards on a touchdown. He rushed for 56 yards on a score. Navy facing the AAC has put up 37 points per game with 5.6 yards per rush and 10.5 yards per pass attempt. They have been defending well against the conference. Tulane, as with Navy, putting up great numbers on both ends of the field against the AAC. Their passing numbers and run defense, though, are not as good on the road. The Green Wave have played a rather weak schedule the past several weeks. Pick here will be on Navy plus 6.5. All right, next up we have Clemson and Pittsburgh college football pick Saturday. Clemson now 7-2 with their 24-14 road win at Virginia Tech. The Tigers gained 378 yards, 167 rushing for 3.6 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 228 yards to the Hokies with 40 rushing yards for 1.9 yards a carry. Kate Klubnik, 16 of 34 passing for 211 yards with 3 touchdowns and a pick. Pittsburgh now 7-2 with their 24-19 home defeat to Virginia. The Panthers posted 292 yards, 127 rushing for 4 yards per carry. Defensively, they allowed 340 yards to the Cavaliers with 170 rushing for 3.8 yards a carry. Eli Holstein, 10 of 23 passing for 121 yards. He is questionable with the head injury. Nate Yarnell took over and hit 4 of 12 passes for 44 yards and a touchdown and 2 picks. Holstein injury a massive concern here. The Tigers against the ACC put up 38 points per game with 5.5 yards per rush and 267 yards passing for 6.9 yards per pass attempt. They have held ACC foes to 4 yards per rush, a 54% completion rate. The Panthers have struggled in conference play with the running game and with accuracy as well as efficiency in the passing game. On defense against the conference, the Panthers allow 6.6 yards per pass attempt. 2 straight losses for the Panthers. The pick here will be Clemson, minus 10. Ohio and Northwestern college football pick Saturday. Ohio State now 8-1 after their 45-0 home victory to Purdue. The Buckeyes gained 433 yards, 173 rushing for 4.9 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 206 yards to the Boilermakers with 108 passing yards on 21 attempts. Will Howard, 21-26 passing for 260 yards with 3 touchdowns. Northwestern now 4-5 with their 26-20 road overtime win at Purdue. The Wildcats produced 424 yards, 122 rushing for 4.1 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 337 yards to the Boilermakers with 47 rushing for 2 yards a carry. Jack Lausch here, 23-35 passing for 250 yards and a touchdown. Ohio State against the Big Ten rushing for 4.4 yards a carry with 73% completion rate for 8.7 yards per pass attempt. They defended well against the conference. Northwestern offense against the conference has struggled on the ground and with quarterback accuracy along with efficiency. They surrendered 254 yards passing against the Big Ten and 7.4 yards per pass attempt. Wildcats 1-3 of the spread at home facing teams that allow 310 yards per game or fewer. The pick here will be on Ohio State at minus 29.5. Utah and Colorado college football pick Saturday. Utah fell to 4-5 with their 22-21 home defeat to BYU. The Utes gained 259 yards, 147 rushing for 4.9 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 339 yards to the Cougars with 219 passing yards on 33 attempts. Brandon Rose, 12 of 21 passes for 112 yards with 2 touchdowns and a pick. Colorado now 7-2, a 41-27 road win at Texas Tech. The Buffs put up 351 yards, 60 rushing for 2.2 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 368 yards to the Red Raiders with 275 passing yards on 41 attempts. Shedeur Sanders, 30 of 43 passing for 291 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Utes on the road rushed for 4.6 yards a carry, while on defense allowed 4.4 yards per rush, 49% completion rate. The Buffs have passed well in conference but run for only 2.7 yards a carry. Defensively, they allow 7.1 yards per pass attempt. The pick here will be on Utah, plus 10.5. UL Monroe and Auburn college football pick Saturday. UL Monroe fell to 5-4 with their 38-17 home defeat to Texas State. The Warhawks gained 278 yards, 159 rushing for nearly 4 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 398 yards to the Bobcats with 326 rushing for 6 yards a carry. Aiden Armenta, 13-24 passing for 119 yards and a pick. Auburn's 3-6 with their 17-7 home defeat to Vanderbilt. The Tigers posted 327 yards, 88 rushing for 3 yards a carry. On defense, they held the Commodores to 227 yards with 143 passing on 23 attempts. Peyton Thorne had a shoulder injury, missed practice last week. He is questionable here. Redshirt freshman Hank Brown has seen limited work this year, completing 63% of his passes with 9.4 yards per pass attempt. Louisiana Monroe, defensively on the road, is allowing 5.6 yards per rush with 7.4 yards per pass attempt. They rush for 4.6 yards a carry and struggle with quarterback accuracy. Auburn at home this year is rushing for 5 yards a carry and passing for 251 yards for 8.7 yards per pass attempt. Defensively, they'll have allowed 19 points per game at home with 6.6 yards per pass attempt. Louisiana Monroe 3-1 to the over on the road, facing teams that rush for 4.75 yards per carry or higher. Auburn 3-0 to the over at home, following a home loss. The pick here will be on UL Monroe and Auburn over 46. Coastal Carolina and Marshall college football pick Saturday. Coastal Carolina now 5-4 after their 38-24 home victory to App State. The Chanticleers gained 353 yards, 203 rushing for 5 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 376 yards to the Mountaineers with 150 rushing for 3.8 yards a carry. Ethan Vasco, 14 of 18 passing for 150 yards with a touchdown. He rushed for 52 yards and a score. Marshall 6-3, a 37-3 road win at Southern Miss. The Thundering Herd put up 526 yards, 267 rushing for 5.7 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 183 yards to the Golden Eagles with 70 passing on 18 attempts. Braylon Baxton, 14-21 passing for 220 yards with a touchdown and pick. He rushed for 59 yards in the game and a score. Coastal Carolina against the Sun Belt rushing for 4.7 yards a carry, 7.3 yards per pass attempt. They have been poor defensively in conference by allowing 5 yards per rush, 8.2 yards per pass attempt. Marshall has moved the ball effectively in conference with 5.7 yards a carry, 8.2 yards per pass attempt, with 6.9 yards allowed per pass attempt. Chanticleers 4-2 the spread as a road dog. Pick here will be on Coastal Carolina plus 8.5. FAU and Temple college football pick. Here we go for Saturday. FAU fell to 2-7 after their 49-14 road defeat at East Carolina. The Owls gained 399 yards, 137 rushing for 4.3 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 571 yards to the Pirates with 343 passing yards on 22 attempts. Casey Wiseman, 20 of 35 passing for 180 yards with 2 touchdowns and a pick. Temple now 2-7, a 52-6 road defeat at Tulane. The Owls put up 158 yards, 102 rushing for 4.4 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 589 yards to the Green Wave with 327 rushing yards for 6.3 yards a carry. Even Simon here, 11 of 22 passing for 56 yards. In AAC play, FAU rushes for 3.9 yards a carry and averages 243 yards passing for 7 yards per pass attempt. They have been defending poorly against the conference, allowing 6 yards a carry, 8.6 yards per pass attempt. Temple against the conference has been poor on defense as well. They rush for only 2.5 yards a carry, 6.3 yards per pass attempt, and that's against the conference. FAU, though, is getting better work from their quarterback position. Pick here will be FAU minus 2.5. FIU and Jacksonville State college football pick Saturday. FIU now 3-6 after their 34-13 home victory to New Mexico State. The Panthers gained 438 yards, 100 rushing for 2.9 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 246 yards to the Aggies with 30 passing yards on 19 attempts. Keon Jenkins, 18-27 passing for 338 yards with 4 touchdowns. Jacksonville State sits at 6-3. A 44-37 road win at Louisiana Tech. The Gamecocks put up 391 yards with 191 rushing for 3.2 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 410 yards to the Bulldogs with 286 passing yards on 23 attempts. Tyler Huff, 14-31 passes for 200 yards with 2 touchdowns and a pick. He rushed for 42 yards and a touchdown. FIU in the conference has struggled running the football but has been efficient in the passing game. Defensive numbers have been good against Conference USA, allowing 4.4 yards per rush, 5.3 yards per pass attempt. Jacksonville State puts up 47 points per game against the conference with 6.5 yards per run, 8 yards per pass attempt. Defensively, the Gamecocks hold foes to 4.2 yards per rush, 57% completion rate. FIU is 1-3 of the spread on the road, facing teams that average 425 yards per game or greater. The Gamecocks are 6-1 of the spread as home favorite. The pick here will be on Jacksonville State, -14. Michigan State and Illinois college football pick Saturday. All right, Michigan State fell to 4-5 with their 47-10 home defeat to Indiana. The Spartans put up 265 yards with 36 rushing on 32 attempts. Defensively, they allowed 385 yards to the Hoosiers with 263 passing yards on 29 attempts. Aiden Childs, 16-24 pass for 193 yards with a touchdown and 2 picks. Illinois now 6-3, a 25-17 home defeat to Minnesota. The final Illini posted 352 yards, 126 rushing for 4.3 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 361 yards to the Golden Gophers with 148 rushing yards for 4.6 yards a carry. Luke Altmaier, 20-33 passing for 226 yards and a touchdown. Michigan State on the road has struggled defending the pass by allowing 69% completion rate for 7.8 yards per pass attempt. They rush for 3.6 yards a carry away from home and throw for 8.3 yards per pass attempt. Illinois in the conference runs for only 3.9 yards a carry with 7.2 yards per pass attempt. Defensively in the conference, the final line allows 4.7 yards per rush, 8.1 yards per pass attempt. Spartans have lost 5 of 6. They have averaged 15 points per game in their past 3 road games. Pick here will be on Illinois, -2.5. Sam Houston State and Kennesaw State college football pick Saturday. Sam Houston State now 7-2 after their 9-3 home victory at Louisiana Tech. The Bearcats gained 268 yards, 105 rushing for 3 yards a carry. On defense, they held the Bulldogs at 312 yards, 105 rushing for 2.6 yards a carry. Hunter Watson, 14-22 passing for 146 yards and a pick. Kennesaw State now 1-8, a 43-35 road defeat at UTEP. The Owls put up 300 yards, 117 rushing for 2.8 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 453 yards to the Miners with 333 passing on 34 attempts. Davis Bryson here, 14-25 passing for 183 yards with 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. He rushed for 70 yards and a touchdown. Sam Houston has rushed for 4.5 yards a carry in Conference USA, but struggled in the passing game with accuracy and efficiency. They have defended well against the conference foes by allowing 14.5 points a game. Kennesaw State rushed for 3.7 yards a carry against the conference and struggles in the passing game. They allow conference foes 4.8 yards per rush with 7.8 yards per pass attempt. The Owls 2-0 the over at home. The Owls gave up 43 to UTEP, 31 to Western Kentucky, 62 to Jacksonville State in conference play. Pick here will be Sam Houston State and Kennesaw State over 42.5. Syracuse and California college football pick Saturday. Syracuse now 6-3 after their 37-31 road defeat to Boston College. The Orange gained 431 yards, 39 rushing on 25 carries. On defense, they allowed 378 yards to the Eagles with 313 rushing yards for 6.1 yards a carry. Colin McCord here, 31-48 passing for 392 yards and 2 touchdowns. Cal now 5-4, a 46-36 road win at Wake Forest. The Golden Bears posted 500 yards with 115 rushing for 3.7 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 386 yards to the Demon Deacons with 274 passing yards on 48 attempts. Fernando Mendoza, 40-56 passing for 384 yards with 2 touchdowns and a pick. He rushed for 51 yards and a touchdown. Syracuse against the ACC has struggled on the ground. They throw for 343 yards, but 7.4 yards per pass attempt. Defensively, in conference, they allow 5 yards to carry on the ground, 7.4 yards per pass attempt. Cal and ACC play rushes for only 2.9 yards to carry with an efficient passing game. Defensively, in conference, Golden Bears allow 3.1 yards per rush with 270 yards passing for 7.5 yards per pass step. But Syracuse here 0-5 the spread on the road, facing teams that average 250 yards passing per game or greater. Long road trip for Syracuse here. The pick will be on California here at -8. Hawaii and Utah State college football pick Saturday. Hawaii fell to 4-6 with their 28-27 home defeat to UNLV. The Warriors gained 374 yards, 92 rushing for 3 yards a carry. On defense, they allowed 465 yards to Rebels with 290 rushing for 6 yards a carry. Braden Shager here, 14-35 passing for 282 yards with 3 touchdowns and a pick. He rushed for 42 yards in the game. Utah State now 2-7. A 49-28 road defeat at Washington State. The Aggies put up 395 yards, 187 rushing for 6.9 yards a carry. Defensively, they allowed 482 yards to the Cougars with 303 rushing yards for 6.7 yards a carry. Spencer Petras, 28-45 pass for 208 yards with 2 touchdowns and a pick. Hawaii has struggled offensively on the road with 3.2 yards per rush and issues with inaccuracy and inefficiency at the quarterback position. Defensively on the road, the Warriors allow 77% completions for 7.5 yards per pass attempt. Utah State has moved the ball effectively through the ground and in through the air this year. Their defense has been poor on the home field. Hawaii 0-2 the spread on the road, facing teams that average 5.9 yards per player or greater. The Aggies here 8-2 the spread at home, following a road game. Pick here will be Utah State plus 2.5. For more free pick videos, be sure to subscribe to our channel. And if you're looking for my best bets, my premium plays, click that link in the description. That'll take you to my page here at Tony'sPicks.com. I'm Tony T. We'll talk to you later.